Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about overeating, and this is a really important topic because it actually is something that I dealt with myself and a lot of you guys out there deal with your eczema. So there's a misconception that you can't have too much of a good thing. Well, that's just not correct. So overeating affects eczema in so many different ways. It can be the cause of eczema. It can cause you to flare up while you've been healing, and it causes you to have very bloated stomachs, and it can actually make leaky gut worse. So this is a very important topic for you guys to start adjusting and fixing your lifestyle to prevent overeating. And so I have lots of tips and tricks for you guys in this video to help you guys prevent having overeating or binge eating little moments. And so let's jump right in and let's talk about how it could have impacted you having eczema right now in the first place. I'm actually one of these individuals that dealt with this, and it's one of the biggest reasons why I ended up with eczema. I am absolutely an overeater. I have been that way my whole life. I can't say it was necessarily an eating disorder, but I did border on binge eating. And so basically what that is you eat a massive amount of food in a short amount of time. So within a half hour's time, you can eat a whole plate of food that's like this big, this tall, and it can also look like you continuously eating for quite a long period of time. So for example, I would have dinner. It was a pretty big dinner, and then right after I ate, I would start eating sweets, and then I would eat something salty, and then I would eat more sweets. And so it was a massive amount of food for my body to handle in one sitting. This actually makes your eczema much worse. And so it's putting so much pressure on your stomach, on your intestines. A lot of the blood in your body has to go to your intestines and work really hard. Well, if you learn about healing, one, to heal your brain and to improve your brain stability, you need your blood to go to your brain while you're sleeping. So if you're somebody that binge eats right before bed and you feel like you have, foggy thoughts, you might want to try eating at least 3 hours before bed. So you putting that pressure on your body, on your intestines, on your stomach is going to end up making your leaky gut worse. Chances are when you did have these binge episodes, they weren't healthy foods. They were probably packed with sugar, processed foods, super high in everything, way too many calories that your body doesn't need. So when I said in the beginning that there is such thing as too much of a good thing, what I mean is even when you start healing and you start eating very clean, even if you're eating perfectly, if you're overeating, you're going to put yourself backwards. So let's say your skin's been looking really good, you're not itchy, and then all of a sudden you decide to eat too much, to binge eat, to make your stomach feel way fuller than it should, and you notice that you get itchy, you get some redness. You now know why. You can absolutely eat too much of a good thing. And I know that's scary, especially if you have the habits of binge eating or overeating. Well, there's a couple tips and tricks that you can do to prevent yourself from doing this. One is, I highly recommend creating portion sizes for yourself by using smaller plates, smaller bowls, and by eating multiple meals a day. So if you're somebody that just eats breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you eat way too much at those meals, try to break it into 5 or 6 meals a day. Have a good sized breakfast, and what you want to do is in breakfast, make sure it's full of dietary fats, healthy fats like flax oil, avocado oil, and that it has protein. These two things are going to keep you fuller for longer to prevent you from overeating. So in your breakfast, you want, a small sized portion of healthy fats and protein with some vegetables if you can. And then from there, you want to have a lunch and then a snack and then another snack and then dinner and then maybe one snack before bed to prevent yourself from eating too much at one sitting. Another trick you can do is a lot of us deal with really bad cravings. And what you should do to avoid these cravings is implement a yeast detox supplement, or you should drink or take Paw d'Argo. This reduces the amount of yeast in your body, which will reduce the amount of times that you feel like you're craving sugar. So let's say you're really craving bad food, try to take one of those supplements, drink some pot d'arco tea. This will also help your sugar binges, which is something that I did pretty often. Another tip is try to schedule more activities for lazy days. So let's say you have Saturday off from work and it's completely to yourself. Well, if something you do is eat all day, you want to make sure to include activities. This is stuff that I have to do myself because I have such horrible habits of binge eating. So instead of letting yourself have this free day where you have a kitchen right there or whatever, you know, if I'm in my apartment, I'll keep going to the fridge. I'll keep grabbing things to eat all day long. But if I make myself busy with non-food activities like going to see my parents, hanging out with my boyfriend, going to the park where there's not food everywhere, it makes it a lot easier to not overeat and to space out the times that you're eating. Like for me, I'm a continuous eater where if I don't keep myself busy in the middle of the day, I will go crazy. So for me, doing the 5 to 6 meals, smaller meals a day, doesn't help me. What helps me is breaking up my day with activities where I can't eat. So I'll have a good lunch, I'll make myself busy in the middle of the day, come back, have a dinner. And for me, I'm actually less hungry if I don't eat for a long period of time and then I eat again. And I don't know whether that's your stomach will shrink a little bit, it's not used to working as like, you know, continuously. So that's what helps me. So you're gonna have to experiment and figure out what's gonna work best for you. I also recommend getting enough water because sometimes we eat when we're actually thirsty. And so make sure you're drinking enough water. And if you're a bored eater, try to use things like celery or water or tea to, you know, keep your mouth busy during the day so you're not just eating. So I hope these tips will help you, and if you start to implement them and they start to work, let me know because that's awesome. And if you have any other recommendations for people to deal with overeating or binge eating, leave them in the comments down below. This is like kind of a tricky topic, especially since it borders on eating disorder. So, you know, just, you know, if you do feel like your binge eating is a disorder, you might want to go get help from a psychiatrist or someone that can help you through that type of disordered eating. With that being said, that's the end of this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sure many of you have dealt with this too. I hear a lot of my clients have overeating issues, binge eating issues, so start to implement these tips and see what works for you. I wish you guys good luck, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.